Steve, welcome to my workshop and to Fenric Wood Stuff. Well, this is the third episode of the Morris chair build. In this episode I'm going to carry on with the arms, and it's to focus on the joinery, so that's to fix it to the legs, etc. Firstly, with the arms, I'm just going to get them to a uniform size in width. I'm just doing that on the table, so I ran one edge along the jointer stroke planer and then the other one just basically through the table saw to get it to the desired width. I've assembled the legs and the stretchers, and what I'm just doing now is balancing the arm. This is to mark where I need to cut the top of the legs, as the front leg is square and the front 4 inches, so the arm is flat. That's pretty straightforward, so it's really focusing on the back. I'm also using a marking knife rather than a pencil because it just gives me a bit more a definitive line and a bit more accurate. Then with a handsaw, just sew in close to the line to take the surplus away. Then it's finish it off with the chisel, and this is another reason why I use the marking knife is that I can just pick up the knife line and then just drive the chisel down, ensuring that it's square. I reassemble the sides again, and then I put the arm up against the sides, and you can see now it sits on the tenons properly, front and back. I'm just marking out a cut line for the top stretcher because obviously it needs to follow the bend in the arm. I also use it in this position to mark out exactly where the tenon should go into the arms. You'll see that a little bit later on. So it's just cut close to the line on the bandsaw to get nearly the finished profile, and then we'll finish this off with some hand tools. So the hand tools I'm going to use to finish this off will be the spoke shave. followed by a good application of sandpaper, sort of 80 and 120 grit. Just taking it carefully till I get to the line, checking along with the square. Well, it looks like a decent fit there, no real gaps or anything, so time to continue with the tenons. Of course, when I said tenons I really mean mortises. So what I've done, I'm going to route these mortises out. Now the front mortise is a through mortise, so I've created this template, and I'm just going through with a, I think it's sort of like a 3/4 inch forstner bit to create a through hole, and then I'm going to follow it up by using a pattern bit and the router to finish the mortise to size. I'm using the turret stops on the router just to give me different depths of cut. I do use a couple of router bits because obviously it's quite thick, it's an inch thick or 25mm thick, and I start off with a very short one, so the bearing catches on the template, and then I swap to a longer one to finish it off down to the bottom. Same process to the other arm, but obviously it's a mirror image of the one I just did first. Well, the actual tenon is square edged, and because I've used a router for the mortise, it's obviously got rounded corners, so whilst the template's on, I just run down with a chisel and square off each of the corners. For the mortises at the rear of the arm, it's slightly different. They're a blind mortise, so that makes it easier. You don't need to be as accurate because there's nothing to see because it's all underneath. However, it's a little bit more fiddlier because it's right on the bend of the arm. So I've just got them wedged up on the bench, and I'm just going down with a forstner bit to clear out most of the waste. Then I'll be attacking it with a chisel. Pure handwork on this one, pure handwork. Just for interest purposes, I'm using a set of Japanese chisels that I've had a while. I think they're called okinori, and then just tapping them with a little brass mallet. The rear mortises are quite fiddly because you've got to actually try and keep the mortise vertical, you know, because the leg is vertical, and and because it's off a bend, you're sort of looking at lines in space, as it were. So he's the first one. He's just in position. I'll just put the arm on, and it's not looking too bad. So here I am with the second one. I've got the sides all clamped up. I'm just going to place the arm and the mortise that I've just cut out. Try and get the back one started first, and then just give it a little bit of a tap. And on it goes.
So not a bad fit. The only problem with this one, I had a bit of an error. I slipped with the router. So the options are remake it all, or try and piece out a little piece in. And I'm going to go for the second option. I'm going to try and tidy that up and put a little piece in. Hopefully make it seamless if I can try and get similar grain wood. In terms of that mishap that I had with the router when I was creating the mortises, instead of replacing the whole arm, which would have been a bind and etc, etc, I'm attempting to do a patch. So what I've actually done, I just sort of double stick tape, a few strips of wood, and I just run round it with a little pattern bit to create basically a uniform cutout, and then use sandpaper, try to match the grain a little bit with an offcut, and then I'm going to glue that in there, clamp it, and then titivate it up. When it's finished, hopefully it'll be pretty seamless. If I take these off, I don't think it'll be too bad. Sorry about this. So once that's pulled in, the sort of grain sort of picks it up, so we might get away with that. So the moment through, see what it looks like. Just cross cut, saw that off. Just go through it with a little plush cut saw. So the repair don't look too bad. I think some finish on that, it'll disappear.
This is where the camera card runs out. Now it looks okay. So we're going to finish the rails on the side. So we've done the top rail, the top part. We just need to do the bottom part of the rail. So I've just got a set of compasses, so a scribe actually. I'm just running it down to run a parallel line, and then we'll saw that off and titivate it up with the old spoke shave. It's not too crucial, but just make it look quite uniform and in line with the top. Well, the bottom rail, we're just going to do a very similar approach really, but we're just using the top arm as a template. So just marking it out and then sew it, and once again with the spoke shave to get it to the line. Not too crucial, it's just to make sure it looks fine. Now there's 5 vertical slats that run on the side rails, and they're once again they're mortised and tenon in. So instead of actually doing individual mortises, which would be a bit of a pain because it's on a curve, I'm just running through with a slotting bit, and then we'll infill it with offcuts. So a bit of a cheating mortise and tenon joinery. I'm just running it against the fence, so I'm going to do about 2 or 3 cuts to get to final depth. So here I've got the bottom rail standing up, and I've got 5 slats. Nothing too great with these, just some half-inch thick stock or so, 12mm thick stock, and about 2-inch wide. They're a little bit proud at the moment to this slot, so I'm just going to tickle them down with the hand plane and get them to be a decent fit. And once they all fit, the spaces in between, just put some little blocks, really, nothing more than that. The M1s just need to mark to the end of the stile, and then cut and finish that so it fits flush. So here we are, we're starting the glue up of the side frame. Now first I'm just going to glue these little blocks in, and I'm going to be very careful because I'm actually not going to glue the upright slats. So it's a bit of glue on the block, a little bit of glue into the mortise, and then I'll slide the block in, do the same with the top, push the slat up against it, and I'm being careful that I don't get any glue towards the ends of these blocks because I don't want to glue the slats up at this moment in time. So we do this with every piece in between each slat until they're all done.
So after these are glued in, obviously we've got to trim them. So once again it's going to be onto the router table and using the pattern bit just to flush them up to that edge. So here's the dry assembly of all the finished parts. So that's the legs, the rails, the slats and the arms. So it's now to look at the back.
So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. And the next video will be looking at the back.